Okay, happy Thursday evening. We're going to do a little bit of painting here. And the 8th pikeman is the guy I'm going to work on. We got 7 of them completely done. Well, they haven't been varnished yet, but they're done. We got 1 lone pikeman to do. So we're going to hop on him, knock him out. Okay. I'm going ahead and do some touch up here on the black. See if we left anything off, because went a little haphazard on the way that these guys ended up spraying. No, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was it's actually on the pike where some of it is some of it's showing, some of the metal showing. Needs to be. Okay, let's start off with the tunic, or the jacket, or whatever the heck that thing is. And let's see what other colors we already have here. We got a dark brown one, we got a medium brown one, we have a light color, we have a light yellow one, yellowish. Let's do a medium brown colored one. Let's go grab us a medium color brown. And start to work with that. What's this color? This is the color that we're going to use for the pike. Okay. And medium brown. How about we use this one here? US Field Drab. Let's move this power cord out of the way. Okay. It's all up in my business. Make sure we got this up to. All right, let's get some of this US Field Drab color. And see if we can find a little bit of workspace here for just one figure. We're not asking for a whole lot. There's only one more figure, and then when we're done with them, we can switch the paper out, and it's not that big of a deal. So, okay. So I'm going to paint the tunic. Now I'm going to probably need one more brush, but not that super one. I got a super one there for the face. I don't want to tinker with that one and mess it up. Maybe something that's in between. Maybe this one. Yeah, there we go. Right. All right, so we're going to get some of this US Field Drab over here. And put some black in with it. It's got this almost like a rib tunic. Some kind of leather or something like that, maybe. All right. Go over the rib portions. Okay. Been pretty consistent in how I've done this. As far as doing the tunics first, any kind of shirts, that kind of stuff, then doing the leggings, hose, whatever that happens to be on these guys. And work from there. All right, let's just use straight this color here and then lighten it up a little bit in the next stage. And the end of this thing is already behaving weird. I don't think we're going to be able to use this one for the rest of the stuff. We'll have to go to the super detailed one. We don't want to use that bendy bristle. So they're cheap brushes, so I don't fret about it too much. I don't want to buy the expensive ones and have to mail order them and so forth. There's nowhere here in town to get them. I don't want to buy brushes sight unseen. Every brush is different. The shape of it is much more important than the size of the actual brush claims to be. The brush size that's here on the side doesn't really mean anything. So, although I do tend to prefer more, you can get better detail with a liner, better control. Almost Friday. A long weekend here in the States here for Labor Day. It'll be a 3-day weekend, so that'll be nice. Although I'm still going to wake up at 5 a.m. At least that's the plan. See if I can. There we go. Man, everybody must be eating dinner today. I said, oh, Tony's painting. I don't want to see Tony painting anymore. Well, like I mentioned to someone a while ago, or maybe it was a week before last, I said week, and that's doubtful with this heat. This heat's making it very difficult to get together. So, but anyhow, let's get some white on here. So, you know, if I don't painting, the gameplay videos aren't going to come any more often. Doesn't really, one thing doesn't affect the other, so they're not related to each other. All right, let's lighten this up a little bit. And, you know, be happy for what you have and not what you don't have. So. Some of this down here, these little ribs. Like I said, this reminds me of kind of like that winter gear that the Soviets had in the Second World War. They almost have like a tunic that is insulated or ribbed. I know it's not insulated, but and once we get done with this guy, we're done with all these damn Scot pikemen. Well, I could build 2 more stands. I could build 1 more and then the general, but I'm not going to use the general as a pike guy. Not in this army. We need some mounted. We need some heavy hitters. So, and this is just the Scots contingent. So we've got regular light horse and stuff like that for the native Irish horsemen. All right, let's bring this up 1 more level. Let's do that. give a little bit more contrast going on. I had an issue that I mentioned the other day that when people chat on here, they have a little thing called a chat box, and I can see that. But when you upload it, when it gets uploaded to YouTube, sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't. There was a video that I shot on Sunday that didn't show the chat box, and I commented on it. I'm like, I don't understand. I didn't do anything different. It's on some on, so something weird's going on with the whole YouTube thing. I think it's part of when you get something for free, uh, there's a reason why things work that way. But there's a lot of mystery. I still can't figure out why I can't film these live videos in 1080. I've looked at all the settings and everything, but I'm just going to keep on keeping on. So it's not a bandwidth issue, not on this end. So. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the tunic at this point. Let's go ahead and knock out his whatever hose he's got on. Now, the last guy that has a medium brown had like a gray. We don't want to make this guy too bright. Some of the other guys are turned out a little bit brighter than I would have wanted to, but that's okay. We'll see how they look all together. That's the final check before I prime them, not before I varnish them. I can always go in and say, I don't like this guy's pants, and just redo his pants or what have you. So, although I've only had to do that one time. That was with my Nan Chow General. I ended up painting his tunic in a color that just didn't work out. And what are we using today? Is this the stone one? I believe it's stone gray. You can't read it. You can't read the number or anything on it. And those people just joining us. We're working on the last Scotsman here for the pikeman, for these Scots that decided to travel. And I got notified today that, actually it was yesterday evening, that the people that I ordered my knights from already shipped. So we shouldn't have a 3-week delivery time on them. They should be, it said 4 days. So I suspect they'll be in here tomorrow or Saturday, so we could do an unboxing video on them as well. J.W. Welkins, hello. I hope I said your last name right. Welkins. That's got to be Dutch. I wonder if there's somebody going around calling Dutch, some ignorant person calling people from the Netherlands, calling them, oh, he's Hollandaise. Oh, man. I wonder if there's, I bet there is. I bet there is. I bet there is. Flemish. Oh, okay. I know exactly where that is. That's the people from the Low Countries that were on my ancestors' side. The Duke says hi. I had a funny thing that happened. I don't remember on what group it was, but it was some group where it was somebody that maybe it was somebody that I knew. They had posted something on Facebook and they said something along the lines of, I forget what it was, but it was, oh, I know what it was. It was that thing where The I really wasn't following it, um, because it really didn't make the news, and I don't really follow the news. But that hurricane that went into has a big church in Texas that I'm totally ad-libbing this because I can only tell what happened from what somebody said. So if I'm incorrect, I apologize. But it sounded like one of these megachurch guys didn't want to open his church to people to evacuate. He's one of these guys that brings in millions of dollars in salary, or a lot of money in salary. So it's one of these things that don't come into this church for refuge from the hurricane or whatever. And one guy made this comment. Well, I'm really going around the conversation here, but hey, like my wife says, I tell terrible stories. I don't know where to begin. But anyhow, so this guy supposedly did not open up his church to his flock, etc., to for evacuation there, and somebody made some comment and he said, "Silly Protestants are like that." So I ended up making a meme that had the Iron Duke, the Duke of Alba, that says the Iron Duke approves this message after he had said Protestants. That was my long-winded way of tying into Flemish there, so I apologize, but that's my poor attempt of humor there. Um, the Flemish. I suspect that in Belgium, um, there are a equal number of surnames that are Dutch or Germanic and French, I would imagine, since they're right there on the mixing of those two. Um, that would be my guess. I'm just guessing because I haven't traveled to Europe. I haven't gotten a chance to travel to Europe yet. We were supposed to go this year, but it's obvious I didn't get to go, so that's all right. Not sure when. Might have been the plan to go this year, and we wouldn't have gone anyways. But the situation this year didn't really help anything. But at least I can travel there virtual. I can pan up and down streets and see what's cooking. At least we have that technology. Add a little bit of this here. Hello, Anthony Holton. I'm struggling to see here. Okay, Holton. I feel your pain. I was supposed to be in Iceland this summer. Well, that sounds like a really neat place to go to. I have a friend of mine that went there, and the pictures that he brought back were just amazing. Um, didn't see a single picture of a single tree, but really a really unique place. There's apparently this museum there. Well, they have several museums. Um, but one of them was like a s- I'm being stupid. I'm not drinking iced coffee, so I'm sorry. Um, a sea creature museum, like ocean creatures, and they have like an entire sperm whale. I mean, really, really cool. The lighting in there looks. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going there, but if we're going to Europe, we got to go to the mother country first. We got to go to Spain first. So we were going to do a cruise because we cruise a lot. And the nice thing about a cruise is you got a comfortable room to stay in. You don't have to worry about that. Just as our first time to go over there, so we were going to do the old Spain and Italy route. I'd love to do Spain, Italy, and Greece, but I just can't take that much time off work. It's difficult, and those are like 2 weekers. So, but yeah, that was on the list. So, oh well, it'll still be there. It's been there for thousands of years. It can wait another year or two, or five, or 10, or whatever. Or, worst case scenario, we never go there. At least I can still go up and down on the Google Mobile. At least I can still interact with people from Europe. Let's see what else we got. We got the people woke up. Yes. Icelandic saga nerd here. Okay. Mike. Hello, Mike. Australian Greg, good morning. Again, you're 180 degrees wrong. I'm having a crumpet and a cuppa while watching. So the last Scot, perhaps William Wallace. No, no. William Wallace has already been cut to pieces by the time we're doing this. He's already been cut and drawn and quartered. What a travesty that movie is. What a travesty that movie is. There's so much interesting history. Just write up a story and then pick the time period of history based on the story, and you can just freaking tell it how you want. How it happened. So, yeah, William Wallace. What a travesty in that movie. Where do we begin, right? And I could say maybe it's the Mel Gibson thing, but oh yeah, he's Australian. He's your fault, Greg. You got to claim him. I don't necessarily dislike him, but I revolt against anything where some people make me like it's fictitious and they force me to dislike one side by made up lies. I revolt and I want to like the other side. So the whole time I was rooting for the Longshanks, because it was so over the top and wrong the other way. I'm like. He's William Wallace, I think in one of the Osprey books, it's probably the one on Falkirk. He's in that one. And yeah, he looks exactly like in that book like they did in the movie, doesn't he? If you're going to make up characters, you might as well just make up new people. That's the way to do it. If you're gonna do historical stuff and you're gonna make it fiction, do like they did on the miniseries Rome. Just make up folks that are in between. Make up the storyline that ties them together, and then you have a little bit of both, best of both worlds. Yeah. So the woe that must be what the Picts, or maybe even earlier than the Picts, because pre-feudal Scots don't have woad either. So that's Scots commons don't have them. Pre-feudal Scots don't have them. Before that, you got what Picts? It must be the Picts. I'm not drawing tattoos on my guys. That's way too. That's way too small. Well, maybe I would try one. It wouldn't be that bad. But I love those Picts. The Pict flags. They're glyphs. They're really cool glyphs. They're almost like Mayan in a way. They're not. I mean, obviously, but those pictographs are really, hence where the name comes from. That's They look pretty cool. But Mitch already has an army of them, so there's no reason in me building them as well. But fast pike. If I want to build a bunch of fast pike, I'll just do pre-feudal Scots because they have fights fast pike as well. They're forced to have 6, so they can have up to 8. So I like fast pike, although I can't call them bamboo freight trade because there's no bamboo in Scotland. So unless there's a Japanese garden there. Let's see what we got here. Came in, just finished washing them, letting them dry. So they came in like pewter and you washed them? Okay, that's probably what you're supposed to do. I don't think that I've ever done that though. Greg says, I'll be basing Pyrrhus's mercenary pikemen this afternoon and photographing Saitic Egyptians. Oh, the nerve of those guys. I know it's Sais or whatever that place. It's where they move the capital. That place is like really there in the Delta, isn't it? The Egyptians that struggled against the Persians and the Persians took them over. I believe that's what they are. I'm sure you don't take the labels off your your mattresses either. But hey, whatever works for you. Which Mongols did you get? Which is the manufacturer you got for those? There's tons of Mongols, so manufacturers. I've got a ton of Mongols to do, and whenever I get around to doing them, I think what I will do is I will do a morph because I already have the Chinese armies of that period. So I will do one of the morphs, the early Yuan, which is just a fancy name for use some of the Chinese foot. So I'll already have some foot. I'll just have to do Mongol horse along with them, and then build extra Mongols and do the Mongol conquest. But at some point, I keep threatening to do them, and I get talked back to they say, no, you'll be playing them. They don't want me to build the Mongols. All Essex, okay. Yeah, some of those guys may actually come. I bet they're already. I don't mind them being glued on horses. Okay. So we got the hose done for the hoser. Let's paint the pike. The pike, the pike, the pike. So we can use a bigger one than that. Well, not that big. Here we go. We don't want to use the small brushes except only on the small stuff because we want them to keep their shape as much as we can. So most aren't on the horse already. I'm not sure if I want to mount them on before I paint or paint them separate and then stick them on. Yeah, whatever works for you. I think there's a fair amount of people that do both. I'd rather glue everything. I can get a brush in anywhere I can see. So, yeah. Whatever works for you. I would be afraid. Afraid's probably the wrong word. I would be leery. Maybe that's the wrong word either as well. I wouldn't want to paint everything and then have to, after it's painted, glue it because if I get the glue somewhere, I'd have to repaint something. Not that I'm particularly messy, but I don't know. I've just kind of done it the same way. So, but don't do it my way. Do it whatever works for you. If you've done armies in the past, or maybe this is your first army, try it one way, and some people paint the figures on a popsicle stick, multiple of them on a popsicle stick. I can't seem to get that method to work for me. I want individual ones where I can turn the figure however I want and get in there. If I've got this stream of figures, I can just see like multiple figures are in my way, try to get with them. So, you need to do what works for you, not what works for other people. Nobody's watching, nobody's like filming you at home like, oh, that Mike guy's painting them the wrong way, Painting shouldn't cause any stress. It should be however you want it to do. However you want to do it. I'm starting to turn into Bob frickin' Ross. Well, don't worry. I'll stop just shy of his Frodo. I don't have the body to carry his Fro. Oh man. But it's true. It needs to be what you like. That's the hardest person to please is yourself. I think. At least that's the case for me. Other people might say, hey, it looks great, but that's not the vision I had, so that doesn't work for me. So. Anthony Holton. What do I use to attach the figures to the pennies? I use this super glue. And I just put one dot and I just glue them on there so I don't have to worry about them falling off. And then I just get in with an X-Acto knife and get underneath it and pop them off. And usually it'll make the stand a little bit bigger. So when I go to the next stage, which is to epoxy them on the stands, it actually has a bigger base for them to attach. So that system works pretty good. So Mike says I might try using the popsicle stick approach when painting horses, just so I can paint a bunch of them one color and a bunch of other. Yeah, well, that could save you some time for sure. On one of the groups, somebody showed a picture. They were doing those contrast paints to do horses, and I think they look pretty good. I mean, I'm necessarily stuck in my ways, but there's no reason for me to change, you know. But those contrast paint horses look really good. The only thing that I changed, I am doing a little bit of black lining. You probably couldn't tell it because I haven't done it yet. But you know, when you've got one color like this tunic and the hose, I'll go in with a tiny brush and put a tiny little black line in between them. And I don't know if I notice much of a difference, but I know that it's there. And I started doing that because I've seen other people do it, and I like how it looks. I kind of like my army to have a realistic comic book look. So I use the comic book part loosely because it's not like I want them to look like to look like a. You guys have seen those historical type comics that they're in comic style, but they're still done, you know, historically looking, and that's kind of the look that I like. It doesn't need to be ultra realistic like a diorama or anything like that, but too, you know, the miniatures. 1/72nd scale miniatures are done more in a realistic proportions than any of these miniatures. So I think that I like the comic book looking paint job with the comic book looking figures. And like I said, I use comic book loosely. Not that I even, you know, not that I do comic books or anything. So, but anyhow. But yeah, those contrast paints look interesting. You start painting what I like to call, I would start painting the opposite of how I paint. And what I mean by that is my daughter does watercolors, okay? And she does, and I realize watercolors are exactly opposite of what I do. And what I mean by that is if I'm painting a color, say I'm painting the hose or the shirt, I'm mixing and doing the darkest shade and putting that everywhere, and then building it up in the lighter tones. Watercolor is backwards. In other words, you're going to be painting the lightest stuff, and then you're going the other way around because you can't once you put something dark, you can't. Contrast paints are the same way because they rely on you having a light background they're basically thick washes that you're putting on, and they look good, but I'd have to I could see myself screwing up in the middle of it and going, oh no, I went too dark, now I won't be able to do it anymore. So, but the finished result looks pretty good that I've seen other people do on it. And it seems like it'd be a good method if you didn't have the patience to spend, you know, like 4 hours on a figure like what I normally do. So. Mainly, I also don't want to buy all the paints. I've got like hundreds of paints. I guess I could probably make my own contrast paints by adding more. What's the stuff called? The acrylic? The liquid acrylic? I've got some of it. I forget what it's called. And making a glaze type thing. But I did that when I painted my dinosaur. I got a Stegosaurus around here that I painted last year. One of those plastic toys and painted him up. I don't have them here, do I? No, I don't have them here. Well, I've got an ankylosaur that I started working on, and then I saw something shiny and moved on. This is probably a bad example, but I can show you at least the bottom part. This was all spray painted white, and then I did a series of like glazes and stuff, you know, on it. The Stegosaurus is completely done. This one still's, you know, about a third done, but I did the right thing, though. I only bought one pack of 3 that I spent, I think, maybe $7 on. I painted one of them, and the other 2 are just sitting over here by the lonesome. You know, got some rules for a dinosaur battle game, and thought about doing that. But you know, the realistic thing is like, I don't have time to do everything. So I'm like, if I'm going to pick what I'm going to do, I'll do stuff for DBA. You know, so. Not that other stuff wouldn't be fun, but at least for the time being, you know. Okay, so we got to need to lighten up the pike a little bit. Let's see, we've got almost a pure color here. Let's add some white to it and bring up some highlighting on it. And then we're going to do flesh next. We're going to flesh this guy out. Using a red contrast paint for my Japanese Oni demon goblins worked well. Okay. That's for like Horde of Things or some other game. Actually, no, I know what Oni is from playing. What's the name of that? What's the name of that game? Crap. Tomb Raider. We're playing the first redone Tomb Raider. They featured in that. Oni. Big old dudes. That was a fun game. My daughter liked watching me play that, so. I'm not doing any video gaming right now. I'm getting painting done. This is much better because you have something to show for it. And people face to face. But playing against a computer, not even with people online, I don't play with people online, but against a computer, oh, that brings out the, oh, I got killed again in the same spot for the 20th time, so. Daughters are very cool, I agree, and I don't have to share my toys. Yep. Yeah, she doesn't do wargaming, but she'll watch historical stuff and do museums, and she's my movie buddy. You know, remember those things that we used to go to, movies? Okay, let's flesh this guy out like we said we were gonna do. You're only as good as your word, so I said I was gonna do it. By God, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, red leather? Nope, orange brown. Okay. Yeah, I'm extremely nearsighted, and it wasn't until I basically painted with contacts with 20/20 vision until like 4 years ago, and then it was, and then I basically had to use reading glasses, and then it changed so much that I just said, screw it. I'll just take my contacts, or in this case, take my contacts out, and then I've got the glasses equivalent. But this is if I want to find my way out of here. But I'm just painting, without anything. So, but it's funny, I never used that before in any of my painting. Now, I don't think my painting is any better because I've got that +6.5. I'm just able to paint now where I wasn't able to focus before. So it really didn't make that much of a difference. But set of readers that are like 375. When I first started having that issue, like 3 years ago, I started just putting those on in and out. I mean, it's not a huge pain, but in about 40 minutes, I'll be painting another 40 minutes, and then we'll have to wrap it up. Maybe 40, 45 minutes, something like that. I've got to go put my contacts back in, because I can't drive with my glasses. I'm not used to wearing glasses. I just have them just to, if my eyes are tired or watching some TV. But if I'm interacting with something used to wearing glasses, it feels like you're drunk. So yeah, I don't need to be. That's pretty scary. So I got a notification. I mentioned earlier, but nobody was online, I think. I got a notification yesterday that my figures were mailed. And these are the figures that would encompass the night element for the Scots, for Edward. Edward the Bruce. They got mailed, and I should receive them. That has tracking, so I can follow its every move. I should receive them tomorrow or Saturday. I'll do an unboxing video on them. It's nothing terribly exciting. They're from Old Glory. Everybody knows what Old Glory looks like, but I like doing the unboxing videos, and we'll do a little review on them. over here that. All right, let's add more of this red leather and bring this up. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this guy done today, but I'm sure as hell going to try because I am itching to paint some of this, some of the Irish horse. I mean, they're only light horse, so it's 2 figures, bam, stand. We'll need to do 2 other light horse, and of course, the exciting part of painting this is we're going to have a little wolfhound there on the general stand, so that'll be cool. I don't know where the hell I got that, but you know, some people don't like having any extra figures, and I thrive on having extra figures because you never know when you're going to need them. Like this, I probably had that dog. I probably picked him up from a grab bag, every bit of 15 years ago, probably. And a grab bag, I mean, you know, from a flea market or something that they had at a show. I don't even know who makes them. I have no idea who makes this figure. It's not the ones made by Splintered Light, and it's not the ones made by who else makes them? I don't know who makes this thing. I don't know who makes it at all. So, but it looks just like a wolfhound. Good thing. That's exactly what I want it to look like. All right, let's paint some fingers. So even though we've got 9 elements of this army done, there's still plenty to do. These are the 2 elements of pike, but when we use these pike, it just ends up replacing blades. So it doesn't really give me more elements. I'm still like at 9 elements. The light horse will actually build up the last 3, and then the knight will take the place of one of the light horse general. So we got auxilia we can build as well, and our Scots Isles allies as well. So the faces on these figures are pretty lackluster as well. They're just like a really old type of sculpting style. I'm sure these are probably from the 80s, I'm guessing. So. All right. I'll be right back. I'm going to get something to drink. I'll be right back. Okay. One poor soul that couldn't wait for me to come back. Thank you. All right. Okay. As we were. We're going to need sunny skin tone here. I might as well go ahead and put some of that down. Some colors are just weird. This one always seems to have a bunch of the color around the tip here. Always. There's some that won't come out at all. There's some that, it's just weird how some different colors behave differently. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this color here. I am running out of space to work on here. Ditch this paper and move on to another one. Could have done it sooner, but I just figured that seems like the right time to do it. This guy's molded like he only has 3 fingers, so he's a 4-fingered dude. But they're like molded on there, so it's not like I can just paint another one in. Okay. This brush is starting to fray. I don't know if it's just too dry. Not fray, but it's starting to split. Sometimes you'll get one bristle that wants to hold paint when all the other ones have gotten rid of it all. I'm not sure what causes that. I guess if you probably looked at that bristle when I'm under a microscope, it'd be really jagged compared to the other ones. That's how I'm guessing it's probably something like that. All right. got 4 fingers on this hand. He's got 3 on this other one. Well, 3 fingers that aren't the thumb. That's what I meant. Hey, I didn't sculpt them. And if I did, it'd probably look a lot worse, so. Okay, let's add some more sunny skin tone on there. And the last guy that I have that has the same medium, he's a blonde guy. So we're gonna make sure this guy's not blonde. We're gonna make sure this guy's probably gonna be a redhead. A ginger. What this looks like, I think we can just add white to that and bring it up. Whoop, almost fumbled him. All right, let's bring this up a little. Oh, we need to use more white than that. Hardly see any difference. That's better. And then after this, what's the next step? I paint the targe. Do his hair, his helmet. They don't have a ton of equipment, so they paint fairly quick. I couldn't imagine doing more than one at once, though. I just lose interest when it takes so long to show one figure completed. That system doesn't really work for me. I've tried doing it before and it just doesn't work for me. Okay. We're going to leave his... Oh, no, we're not. We're going to add a little bit on here on his cheekbones on this side. And then we're going to leave him alone. Okay. Let's go ahead and do his hair. We said he was going to be a ginger. Let's get some ginger color out here. Brown. And I believe both of them are equally watery, unfortunately. See if we can find us a spot to work on here. About over here. Man, it's watery. Let's do this. All right. Okay, and we're going to mix some black into that because it gets like Halloween. It's the Halloween colors. Let's go ahead and we're going to paint all the hair in this color. See if we can get some more paint on there. Slow night tonight. Everybody must be at ladies' night. let's add some lightning color. Now we don't have any of that left. We don't have any of that yellow left. But now is this still alive? No, not really. Let's see if we can do a shade other than just a bright yellow. Let's do something like this. This one. Golden yellow. This one's one that's not very watery, I believe. This one comes out in chunks. Okay. All right. And we don't need to take a whole bunch of that, just a little bit. Man, it really is a slow night. Everybody's worn out from the week. I know I am. There we go. Okay, there's that. Let's go ahead and paint the metal parts. I'm gonna write myself a note here. That's my pen. I'm gonna write myself a note. I need to look for empty Vallejo style bottles. Because these just aren't cutting it anymore. I've seen videos where people have taken these out, but these are just accumulating so much goop on them that they're not sealing really well. And it's a shame because this paint's really good. Yeah, I need to look and see if that's going to be an option. All right, so let's go ahead and put some of this lead belcher. Looks like they would be able to come off pretty easy, so I could just literally take that Citadel or Games Workshop metallic color and just put that on there. All right, so we're going to do the end of the pike. Okay, and the helmet. Got a little bit of this axe showing here. Okay, we got like a scarf we need to paint on this guy, but considering nobody's here, and it's been a slow night. I'm going to call it a wrap, at least for the video portion of this. So, anyhow, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll get this guy completed pretty soon. I'm going to have to leave to go pick up the daughter. So, ran over an hour and 15 minutes on this one. So, okay, we'll catch you guys next time. See